Hello, everyone out there. This is Pastor Tony Galante coming back to you again with prophecy in Christ above all. I want to thank each and every one of those that are viewing out there. I want you to realize this is your channel as much as mine. And today we're going to be talking about, the doom of Babylon in Revelation chapter 17 and the victory of the Lamb as well, too. But go ahead. If you have any comments, give me some comments, hit the likes button, and please subscribe, okay? Let me tell you this too, okay? I'm going to start from the chapter, from beginning to end, all right? And, this is really packed with a lot of stuff that I don't think a lot of Christians hear, okay? And many times when I've heard them, ministers preaching about this, it's like, they're not really hitting it hard. They're not really hitting it the right way, okay? So let me get into this with you right now, okay? I'm going to start at verse 1, okay? And here it is. And, okay? And one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls, remember we had seven seals, seven trumpets, and now seven bowls, okay? So this angel was one of them that had the seven bowls, came and spoke to me, which is the Apostle John, okay, saying, "Come here, I shall show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters." Okay. Now, before I get started, excuse me here. Before I get started on this verse, what I want to tell you is this many waters, okay, is not, it can mean much water around the nation, okay, and the United States has got a lot of water around its nation, okay. We have the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico. We have the Great Lakes. We have a whole bunch of, and then Alaska's got more water around it. Obviously, Hawaii's in the Pacific too. But we are present in many areas, not only in the United States, okay? All right, let's just think of that, okay? Because that's important. But I also want to show you too that in Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 13, it says this too. O you who dwell by many waters, okay, abundant in treasures. What's the richest nation in the world right now? We are, okay. Abundant in treasures, your end has come. We're talking about the end times now. This is when all the Christians are taken out and raptured out, and then we have tribulation saints and so on and so forth. But there's going to be a real skeleton of people here, okay? So put your mindset in that. Okay, we're not talking about right now, okay? Your end has come, the measure of your end, okay? So that's found in Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 13. And I'm going to have to go back to Jeremiah for something else a little later. But this is a study, and I'm not going to cut it short. I'm going to do it the right way because I want you to really get this, okay? So, the many waters, we are the many waters, I believe here, okay? And number 2, verse 2 says this, with whom the kings of the earth committed acts of immorality, and those who dwell on the earth were made drunk with the wine of her immorality, okay? Now, the United States has done a lot of good things, but you know what? We've also done a lot of bad things too, okay? And I'm pro-America. I mean, I'm a patriot, okay? But I'm looking at this through the scripture, all right? You got to look at it through the eyes of what God has put here, okay? And this is what it is. In the beginning of this nation, we have practically annihilated or tried to completely annihilate a race of people, which were Indians, American Indians, okay? And then later on, we ended up getting people from another continent because of the color of their skin and bringing them here and enslaving them and making them work for nothing and really tormenting them in a sense and making them work for profit, okay? In all of modern time, I haven't seen this. There are other nations that have slave labor right now, but I haven't seen the magnitude of this, okay? Let me mention this to you too. The word America, okay, comes from the name of an Italian explorer around the time of Columbus, okay, because he came first, Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo Vespucci. That is why we are named America, okay? And we have the word America, all right? America means the Amera means the ocean, the rich ocean. Rica means rich, okay? So we are the rich ocean. When you go over the ocean from Europe or from Africa, we're the rich ocean, okay? And that's what you have to put in your mind as well, too, and your heart, too, for that degree. And, you know, we've gone through so many different things, okay? We've had a lot of lawlessness at the beginning of this country. Things started getting better. And now we're going back to lawlessness again. I mean, it's all over the place. And, you know, we have sex trafficking. How disgusting, disgraceful is that? Everything's going berserk, knocking down statues and all kinds of other crazy things. But this is all culminating because it's through the spirits, okay, that are out, that the enemy that's out there, okay? The enemy, the spiritual enemy, I'm saying, okay? And we're also a nation of many nations. Different nations in this nation, okay? Stick with me on this, okay? Because I'm not trying to, you know, degrade America, okay? I'm just trying to make you see what's going on here. And then we have, if you go to Jeremiah chapter 25, verses 15 and 16, okay? It says here, "For thus the Lord, the God of Israel, says to me, take this cup of the wine of wrath from my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send you to drink it." So God is telling Jeremiah here, you tell people this, all right? And it's still our responsibility as Christians to do this too, wherever we go, okay? And then it says here, "They will drink and stagger and go mad because of the sword that I will send among them." Okay. So what is this basically telling us here in representation of number 2? People don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear what's really in God's word, okay? They're going to be, you know, we're going to hit their conscience and we're going to jump onto them, okay? But we need to bring this forth because God commands us to do it no matter what. And it's not just in America, but everywhere in the world, okay? All right, let's go to verse 3, okay? Verse 3 says this, "And he carried me away." Now, this is what John is saying about the angel. He carried me away. Now, let me tell you that part about that. He didn't just carry him away. He wrapped him away. R-A-P-T, wrapped. We get the word rapture from that word, okay? And we get the first 3 letters of rape, which means fast, forceful. So John was forcefully pulled by the angel, all right? And he carried me away, which sounds like a nice, gentle thing, but it was more of a pulling away quickly, okay? And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. So now, not only is there many waters, but there was a wilderness. What do you think was here in America at one time? You had other civilizations, but we were still a wilderness as a country. You know, we had nothing here, all right? We had American Indians and so on and so forth, but it was still considered a wilderness, okay? And let me go on. "And I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast." Now, let me tell you something about this woman. I believe that this woman has been sitting on all the empires of the world, okay? I believe it was sitting on the Egyptian Empire. I believe it was sitting on the Babylonian Empire. Okay, but when you get into Daniel, you see the four, the four things, the gold and the Babylonians, all right? And then you have the Medo-Persian Empire, and then you have the Greek Empire, and then you have the Roman Empire. Supposedly, this harlot was there, okay? And I believe when you develop a nation, and it includes, it's a lot of inclusiveness of all other nations in it, that's not what God originally wanted, okay? We are all part of the earth, but God wanted, I don't believe, because if you go back to the Tower of Babel, which was also another one where the harlot was, okay? If you go back to the Tower of Babel, all the way down, and let me tell you something about the Tower of Babel, which a lot of people don't realize, okay? Nimrod came from Egypt. He went and built the tower, okay? He originally was from that Egyptian area, but Egypt wasn't fully formed with pyramids and stuff like that, I believe. So that's another concern, okay? Think of it all these are all little layers that you have to think of, like little waves coming at us, and we have to, kind of go through them, Everything's cascading, and we're trying to make it gel for us, okay? All right, so here we go. Anyhow, it says here, okay, carry me away in the spirit in the wilderness, okay? And I saw a woman sitting on the scarlet beast. Okay, so here comes the beast, okay? All right, full of blasphemous names, okay? Having 7 heads and 10 horns, okay? So if you have 7 heads and 10 horns, you have more than one horn on some of the heads, okay? You might have 2, you might have 3, that kind of thing, all right? You understand what I'm saying? And the head, the horns are leaders, okay? And they can be nations, 10 nations, 10 divisions, and I believe it's going to be in Europe, okay? And because I'm going to show you why as we go on, okay? But I think there's going to be 10 originally, and then we're going to go on, and how does it go from 10 to 7? We'll find that out, okay? All right. And then we go to verse 4, okay? And it says here, and the woman was clothed in purple and scarlet, okay? Rich, extravagant, overdoing it. What do you think America does, Okay. Very, very, a great deal of money, okay? And adorned with gold and precious stones, okay? And pearls, having in her hand a gold cup, okay? A gold cup full of abominations and of the unclean things of her immorality. So we know that this harlot is very immoral, okay? Very, very immoral, okay? Now let me go on to another verse here. I believe it's in Jeremiah, back to 51 again. We've got to go back and forth a little bit here. 51, verse 7, okay? Verse 7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the hand of the Lord, intoxicating all the earth. The nations have drunk her wine. Therefore, the nations are going mad. So you see, it started in Babylon, probably from the Tower of Babel, but it started in Babylon and went all the way through the empires, Babylon, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, and the reunification of the Roman Empire, which doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be out in Rome, okay? It can mean somewhere else, and I'm going to show you what I mean about that. But who is this harlot? That's the key, okay? See, the harlot is the one who tries to get everybody to make more, get richer, get richer, get richer, get richer, get richer. And where's Christ in the whole thing? Does anybody care about their spiritual life, about their eternal life? Or is it just all money, you know? And, you got to watch that prosperity gospel because it could destroy you, okay? It can be a very bad heresy if you think of it that way too, okay? I'm not pulling any punches here, as you know, okay? Okay, so, verse 5, it says here, and upon her forehead a name was written, a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. Abominations of the earth, okay? Now, in Rome, I understand if a woman was a prostitute or a harlot, they had to wear a band with their name written across it, okay? That was the law, okay? That's what was her job or whatever she did. It was immoral, of course, but that's how they picked them out differently. They kept them separate, per se, by that indicator. Well, this is basically John is saying he is seeing this with the major harlot of the world, of Babylon. And you see, it didn't start from Rome. It started all the way from Babylon, okay? And, I and my wife went to Herculaneum in Rome, in Italy one time, and I'm telling you, they had some really strange things there, I don't want to get into it all, but I mean, if you go there or if you read about it, you'll find out some of those strange things that they had. Certain things that gave a direction, and, I don't want to get into it all, phallic symbols that pointed in that direction kind of thing, But anyhow, that's the situation with this, all right? It's written all in big letters, and it's basically John, the Lord is telling us, this is a major thing, okay? It's like a sign on her, okay? And then in verse 6, it says here, and I saw a woman drunk, this is the woman, I saw a woman drunk with blood of the saints, okay? Drunk with blood of the saints, and with the blood of the witnesses of Jesus, and when I saw her, I wondered greatly. Okay, so you might turn around and say, Christianity Christianity. America is a Christian nation. You have other nations that claim to be Christian, but you know what? This nation's falling apart right now. I'm talking about this is after the tribulation. This is during around the time of the tribulation. This is after the rapture. Okay. This is what's going to happen. There's going to be a big vacuum that's going to bring this about, okay? So, and I'm going to tell you something. I was on a program called Prophecy in the News years ago, but I went to one of their conferences too years ago, and I actually saw containers that they had. All right, that America was buying for massive graves, and I don't get it, but I saw them and I know what they were, and they were being stated for that too. Okay, and this is going to be, you're going to have tribulation saints that are going to die for their faith, starved to death for their faith, and so on and so forth, tormented, tortured, and so on and so forth. Thank God we are looking for the rapture, and I believe the Lord's coming very soon as well, okay? So keep that in your mind, in your heart. But also tell your friends too, I'm going to sound, this is kind of a selfish way to protect them, but you tell them just don't ever take the mark, because you'll be on Jesus' side if you don't take the mark. But you need to witness to them and tell them who Jesus is now to bring them to Christ, okay? Tell them about the death, the burial, the resurrection of Jesus Christ and the ascension, okay? So go on from there, okay? And tell them that Jesus Christ is God and have the evidence in Scripture. I did that today. I got a comment from somebody who said, oh, Jesus Christ couldn't be God. He died on the cross. I knew exactly where he was coming from. And I wrote him a nice long comment, okay? So, and I told him, I hope this helps, because I know where he's coming from. But who knows what can happen with that. I hope the Holy Spirit uses that. Okay? So let's go on. And we got verse 6 here, and I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints. I went through all that, right? And John was greatly wondering, like, how could this be? You know why he was saying, how could this be? Because things originally may have looked like they were Christianized. You know there are a lot of Christian churches out there. They claim to be Christian, and they are so liberal here in America right now. Here in America right now. And they're all around us. They tell you, you go to church, they tell you to be a good person. They tell you to do good things. They tell you to, volunteer your time. And the one thing that I don't like is they'll tell a young person who just came into the church, but they're older, and they'll have them in the nursery and when they should be in front of the minister hearing the gospel, okay? Or they'll have them teaching Sunday school to children. They need to hear and they need to learn the scripture first. And this is one of the reasons why I think things are failing in America, okay? But I remember, liberals are real, the liberal side of Christianity is real liberal. I remember one guy talking about, well, during the Civil War here in the North, he was in the North, it was a state, it was a church in the North. Well, during this time of the Civil War, the soldiers had to take pieces of wood off the church in order to win the war. And I'm like, what, are you kidding me? This is a sermon? There was nothing there. Nothing spiritual, just historical and brag that we've been here a long time. All right. What good is that? What good is that if somebody in the audience or somebody in the church has never heard the gospel? You know what happens? They need to hear the gospel. The gospel needs to be preached at all times, no matter what. Okay. So, could it be possible that John was greatly wondering? Okay, well, here it goes. He's wondering, how could all these things be? I understand. And he goes, and then the angel said to me, okay, why do you wonder? In other words, don't you realize, and if you realize this too, Christianity has had waves. In other words, it's gone from a certain area to another area, to another area, to another area, and to another area. And the older areas have turned to a different religion. And some of the ones in between have divided and made their own so-called Christianity. You got one on the eastern part of Europe. You got some on the western part of Europe. You go more northern Europe. There's splits all over the place. And then you got tons of them here in America. Okay? So can this be the blood of the saints in a sense? Yes, I believe so. Okay? So think of it this way, because there's a lot of money. All right? The idea is George Washington, not Christ. That's the wrong idea. Okay? And then it goes on here and it says here, okay, and the angel said, why do you wonder? I shall tell you the mystery of the woman. Okay, this is the harlot, okay, the woman, and of the beast that carries her. Okay. Now you see, I believe too that after the rapture, America is going to be very desolate of Christians. I believe there are many Christians here in this country. I believe there's going to be a lot less in Europe. And I believe that Europe is going to be carrying America, per se, for a while, okay? But let me continue, okay? All right, here. A mystery of the woman and the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads. So the 7 heads, the beast has 7 heads, okay? And 10 horns. So there's seven, a group of 7, right? That have 10 horns. and they can be 7. They can be 10 nations with 7 groups. Okay, let's just say one group could be. Let me see. Let's say Belgium and France. And France would be the more dominant nation, right? Spain and Portugal, and Spain would be the more dominant nation. So you see, you got 2 in there, right? And then you have, England was part of the Roman Empire, but Scotland was not, and Ireland was not. And there might be a truce between the 2 of them too, because London is considered the most powerful financial city, in the world today. London, believe it or not. But why do I think this is America? Because we have more gold than any other nation in the world. Okay? And the gold is very much part of other nations. We have German gold. We've had German gold. We have all kinds of gold from other nations, and we're protecting it for them. So you see who's carrying who. Okay? Think of it that way. And then we go on, and I'm trying to see here. Okay, the 7 heads, 10 horns. Okay, the beast that you saw, okay, was and is not, okay, and is about to come up out of the abyss. Okay. So there was a beast. Okay, the beast comes out of the abyss, and I'm going to tell you that I believe, I know that when Christ was walking on this earth, he put many, many thousands of demons away into the abyss. Okay, and if you go to, I think it's Luke. Let me see here if I can get this. Okay, Luke. All right. Chapter 8. Chapter 8. It says here, this was, the man who was possessed with legion and so on and so forth. Seeing Jesus, he cried out and fell before him and said to him with a loud voice, "What business do we have with you?" All right. What business do we have with you, or with each other? We have with each other. Yeah. Jesus, Son of the Most High God, the only high God, I beg you, do not torment us. That's the power of Christ, see? I'd like to see unbelievers look at that and think that, there is no Son of God, I like to see them, okay? And it goes on and on and on. And it's between, and verses, I want to jump down to 30 and 31 here. And it says here, and Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" Okay. And he said, "Legion," for many demons had entered him. So you had many thousands of demons entering this man. Okay. It was a legion of demons. Okay. And they were working together. Okay. But listen to this part. They were imploring him not to command them to go into the abyss. Okay? So, the abyss, Jesus will put many, many demons in the abyss. Okay? And I believe that this beast could have very well been Legion, another name, because Christ has different names and the devil's got different names. I mean, it's the devil's work, And this is what's going on here, okay? And the real name of this so-called Legion was Abaddon, I believe, okay? The destroyer. And this is what he's doing. He's destroying. He's going to ultimately try to destroy the whole world and destroy everything, okay? And he wants to destroy all the honor and glory and worship to God himself, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. He wants to destroy everything. Okay? So, okay. So the beast into the abyss, okay, and to go to destruction. Okay, so here it is. It says here, I'm going to start all over again because it's kind of a long verse. The beast that you saw was and is not and is about to come up out of the abyss. Okay, so it was here during the time of Christ. It is not here, but it's going to come out again. Okay, that's what you have to understand. Out of the abyss. Okay, and to go to destruction, because he's the destroyer. He's the Abaddon. Okay, he's a destroyer, but he's going to be destroyed. That's what it's saying here, basically. Okay, and those who dwell on the earth will wander. Oh, you mean these are the ones who are dwelling on the earth who are following this beast, okay? Wander, whose name has not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. You know, if you're a believer, your name is written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. Did you know that? Mine, yours. Keep going, okay? Foundation of the world. When they see the beast, that he was and is not and will come. Okay? So, I want to go to Daniel now. I want to show you something. Okay? Okay. I got two Bibles. I got the big one and I got this little one that I'm practically wore out. Okay? Because that's who I am. I like to wear them out. But Daniel chapter 7. Okay? Chapter 7, verse 3. And it says here, and 4 great beasts were coming up from the sea, different from one another. Okay? So I don't know if that really means 4 great beasts, you know, or, you know, the Babylon, the, you know, from the statue, the Babylon, the Medo-Persia, you know, and Greece and so on and so forth, and Rome, you know, that kind of thing. But I do believe that this is a reunification of the Roman Empire, but I'm going to get into that with you and show you something else here. I want to show you this. Here it is, okay? I want to show you verse, verse 4. I'm going to read just one verse. I could read all of this, but if you go to Daniel chapter 7, okay, read all of that till about verse 8, okay? But listen to this here. Just chapter 4, verse 4. The first was like a lion, talking about Babylon, okay? So we're on that. And had the wings of an eagle. Now, some people will say that the lion here in modern day is England or Great Britain, okay? Because their symbol is a lion, okay? But look. But who's got the wings of an eagle? We do. America does, okay? All right? And it goes here, and I kept looking until the wings were plucked, and it was lifted up from the ground and made to stand on 2 feet like a man. A human mind also was given to it. So, you know, it's very possible that in America, the plucking, you know, of the wings, the rapture. Think of that possibly, okay? A lot of this is symbolic. I mean, you got to look at this, but you got to look at it in a critical manner, in a good critical manner, you know, not critical like it's bad, critical manner in a good way of focusing towards God, okay? And then I want to go on to this verse. And this is a very important verse as well, too. They're all important. The whole Bible is important. But it says here, verse 8 says this. Daniel says, and while I was contemplating the horns, okay? Now, how many horns do we got here? 10 horns, right? Okay. But while I was contemplating the horns, behold, another horn. Okay, another one. Okay. Now you had 7 horns. This is what happened. You got 10 horns, and one ripped 3 of them out. Okay? So now you got 7. Okay? But you see, those other leaders are within those other horns. Got it? Okay, so here it goes. And behold, another horn, a little one, little nation, okay, came up among them, and 3 of the first horns, remember it was 10, take away 3, right, were pulled out by the roots before it. And behold, this horn possessed eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth uttering great boasts. Okay? And who is that? That's the beast right there. That's the Antichrist, the beast. Okay? I mean, the beast, per se. Okay? That is very, very important, because we have 10, then 3 were plucked out, and it's possible he plucked them out, the little horn, okay? And now the little horn, and I'm going to show you that the scripture even shows you that. Let's go on to this, okay? It says here, verse 9, here is the mind which has wisdom. Got to really think through this. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, okay? Okay. Which the woman sits, okay? Now, some people will say that's Rome, but Washington, D.C., I remember I told you that London is the most powerful financial city in the world? Really, it is. But what's the most powerful military nation in the world? It's Washington, D.C. And that is on 7 mountains, 7 hills. And I'm telling you, that area is loaded full of the occult. I've been to D.C. a couple times. I love the buildings. I love everything. But I know that it's in this form of a pentagram, and, you got an obelisk there, which is something goes back to Egypt, and it shouldn't really be there. That's George Washington, and that's really a phallic symbol, okay? And if you go from top to bottom, it's 666 feet. I'm talking about under the ground, top to bottom, and 666 inches wide. So what do you think that means? We can go on forever with that one, but let's not get into that, okay? Let's stick to the scripture here, okay? So here we go. So I believe this harlot is sitting there, per se. And where's the harlot here? But, the 7 mountains, there's a little bit of a, you might say, well, America? Well, America, the word America, is a feminine form, because it's got an A at the end. If it was an O, like Amerigo, remember I mentioned? That's a masculine word, okay? Latin, Italian, whatever you want to call it, okay? And we also have Columbia, Washington, D.C., District of Columbia in Washington, too. So it could be Columbia. And our Statue of Liberty, which so many people have looked up to, and I've loved it, as well. And it is a good symbol of freedom. But when you really look at it, that's a female as well, too, So it's supposed to be a female, but some people think it's Apollo, actually. But we're not going to get into that right now. Okay. But anyhow, and I'm not trying to degrade America. We have a wonderful history, but we also have when I look at this, I see you got to be impartial. That's real wisdom, impartiality. You got to look at yourself in history and look at others in history and see because we're all in on this. The whole world is in on this, okay? Okay. And then it goes on and says, and she sits, which she sits, okay, the 7 mountains. And they are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come, okay? So now, it's very possible, and again, it goes in here, and it goes, And when he comes, he must remain a little while. So we're going to have a leader that's going to pop up. And what is he going to do? He is going to pretty much promote, as you know, this beast is going to promote all of the others, the other empires together. It's going to promote everything, okay? And that's why it's going to be a very bad situation, beast, okay? And it goes on here in verse 11, it says here, and the beast which was and is not, okay, himself also is an eighth. Okay, so you have 7, remember? And then, you had 10, and 3 were plucked up, okay? And now you have an eighth, okay? The little one, I told you, the little horn, okay? And the one of, and is one of the 7. How could it be 7 if it was 8? Okay, I'll have to get to that in a second, okay? And he goes to destruction. Now, during the time of the Roman Empire, if I say that this is a reunification of the Roman Empire, and there's 10 divisions or 10 nations out of that area, right? You're going to have 3 of them taken out by the roofs, and somebody else is going to control them. But then you're going to have also, or it could be the little horn that's doing this, right? And the little horn, to me, means a small country that during the time of the Roman Empire was not there. Okay? Luxembourg, for instance. Extremely rich. Okay? And remember, all Christianity is taken out. And you're going to have somebody popping up like that and taking control of everything. All right? Because you're not dealing with the Christian mindset, the Christian love for the Lord and so on and so forth. You're dealing with a completely paganistic mentality. Okay? This is why it's happening. And it goes on. The 8th, and is one of the 7, and he goes to destruction. Okay, and the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings. I told you they were leaders, right? 10 presidents, kings, whatever you want to call them, who have not yet received a kingdom. Okay, 10 of these nations have not received a kingdom in reality, but they receive authority as a king with the beast for 1 hour. So the beast is going to give them authority. They're going to get it for 1 hour, and they're going to support the beast. These kings, okay, and that's how it's going to happen. These have one purpose. All of them have one purpose, and they give their power and authority to the beast. See, I just told you. They give all their power and authority back to the beast, okay? And it goes on, verse 14. Okay, let me see something else here. Yeah, the 10 horns. I was going to do something else with Daniel, but I guess I could leave it. Daniel. Maybe I could do Daniel. Or did I do it already? No, Daniel. Daniel 7. I think I already did that. Yeah, the 10 horns. Yeah. But the court will sit for judgment, and his dominion will be taken away, annihilated, and destroyed forever. Okay, it talks about, okay. Let's go to verse 14, okay? And it says here, these will wage war against the Lamb, okay? So you get these 10 leaders, backing up the beast. They're going to wage war against the Lamb, okay? And the Lamb will overcome them because he is what? He's the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings, okay? Oh, we never forget that. And those who are with him are called and chosen and faithful, okay? And that's what we're supposed to be. Chosen. We're chosen, but we need to be faithful too, okay? And he said to me, The waters which you saw, where the harlot sits, are peoples, listen to this, peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Now, you could say the whole world. But we're talking, later on, we're going to be talking about other parts of the world, like the East coming over, like, the kings of the East. So to me, what this is saying is it's talking about where the harlot sits. We have a nation of all different nations in our country. 195 different nations are right here in America now. Okay? So that's why I'm pointing here. Okay? Because there's no other nation like that. Okay? And it goes on, and it says here, and the 10 horns, which you saw, and the beast, these will hate the harlot. Okay, so Europe, I believe, is going to hate America. All right? Because America has told Europe what to do. America has dominated and influenced Europe a lot. Okay? In a lot of good ways and bad ways, but they have a grudge, I believe. There's going to be there's an attitude, they think that we're, how do I say, like we're it, that kind of thing, and Americans are proud of being American. I understand that part too. There's nothing, we have more armament, we have everything else, and so on and so forth, And it goes on here, and it says here, and the 10 horns, these will hate the harlot and will make her desolate and naked, and will eat her flesh and will burn her up with fire. Who knows what they can do? They could drop atomic weaponry on us for all we know. But I mean, on America. We won't be here if we're Christians, okay? All right? And then it goes on. And we have more atomic weapons than anybody else. But if you take the Christians out, you know what's going to happen? Nobody's going to know what to do. Because we're part of some of that, okay? Of knowing how to send them up and protect us, all right? Verse 17, for God has put it in their hearts to execute his purpose by having a common purpose and by giving their kingdom to the beast, okay? So the 10 are going to give the power to the beast, okay? Until the words of God shall be fulfilled. Because God is going to have his way, in the end. But, and then it goes on here and it says here, and the woman whom you saw is the great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. Okay? So we're the great city that reigns over the earth. And don't tell me it's not Washington, D.C., okay? Or even New York City, for that matter, okay? But that's chapter 17, okay? And next week we're going to get into Babylon and the fall of Babylon, and is there another Babylon, that kind of thing, all right? Okay, send me some comments, subscribe, and, give me some likes if you'd like to. And Lord bless you. I'll be coming back with another one real soon next week, okay? Have a great week. God bless you all. Bye-bye.